Okay, so to install the doors, if you recall, we've already installed the hinges themselves. If you look inside the door here, so it'll take two people just to kind of get it on the hinge itself and then bolt it down, and then adjustments sometimes can take three people for the fine tuning, as you have to lift and raise the rear as well as the front. So to keep your alignment, sometimes it takes three people, but just get it on there. Usually two people, one person to hold well, one person's bolting on. Best thing to do is use a 3/4 inch ratcheting wrench, or even better than that, the air ratchet with a 3/4 socket on it to be able to tighten down the nylon lock nuts for the hinges. What you want to do before you set the door on, though, is make sure that the flanges on the body and the floor tubs are at an equal height. You also want to check it. You can have with a piece of the weather stripping to make sure that this distance isn't too far in, because particularly in the corners, if this is raised up too much, it'll hit the door and it won't allow it to swing smoothly and to seal against the weather seal that will be on there. Another thing you want to be mindful of is the distance here on the flanges for the weather seal to go over. If it's too wide, it will splay the weather seal out. That can also cause sealing issues. So always a good idea to take a look at that and make sure that things are as they should be. You can see here we've had to trim the floor tub to match the door cutout. So usually that's the way it works, is you have to match the floor tub to the door. So the door is usually more accurate because of the scribe that it has on it. And then at that point you're ready to begin adjusting the door. You might have to at some point loosen up the 1/4-20 bolts in the front, holding the frame to the door to allow the door to roll. If you're too far in on the bottom or too far out on the bottom, or likewise at the top, you might have to roll the door about the frame to be able to get it to line up. Will take quite a bit of time, a little bit of fine tuning. You may also have to, when you shut the door, you might find that you have to trim. A lot of times we will have to trim this back edge here to meet the body, but you want to make sure that you've got all the key parameters covered, like the trimming of the flanges for the weather seal to fit properly, and the rotation of that frame in and out of the car before you trim any of the panels. So you want to try to adjust it as much as possible before you trim anything. At that point, you can then also add the straps, the glass, the front quarter window, the side glass, before you call it final. All those things will play a factor in the weight of the door, how it shuts, the force that it might put on the weather seal here, and thus pull the door out. And that's another thing also you want to, before you call it final, install the weather seal as well, which we'll cover in another step.